Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll show you how I painted Gump. They're one of the new models released this week by Moonstone, and here you can see some of the other TREEFOK. And the techniques I used to paint Gump in this video can be used on all three of these models. If you'd like to find out more about Gump and the TREEFOK from the Wyrdwood set, then I've done some unboxing videos on the channel already. But let's get started, and here you can see I've got Gump all primed and ready to go with a Zenithal highlight. And the primer I used was Surface Primer German Panzer Grey by Vallejo, and then I went over that when it's completely dry with two thin coats White Star paint, and I used a dry brush. I use a makeup brush for this, nice soft bristles. The brand is very vegan brand, and I just use a little bit of the white paint, then load the bristles up, really work it in there. Then I take a little piece of cardboard, get as much paint as I can off of the brush, and then I just use downward strokes to dry brush the model. And I do this with all the models now for Moonstone, so nice dark prime and then this really bright highlight, and then it's really good to bring out all the different values, and it's a really good base to get started with. And this is what you end up with. Let it completely dry and then start painting. Gump is a great model, but there's lots more coming, and there's a sneak peek at the end of this video, so check out that little teaser right at the end. Right, let's get started then. So here we go, Gump's all ready, he's on the little handle, and it's time to paint with some contrast wildwood. And the first thing I'm going to do is get a brush with a decent sized bristle, and I'm going to completely cover him in this wildwood. This is going to get right into all the recesses. This is going to give us a nice dark shade and a really good colour to use as our base. This contrast paint is great. You could just put the contrast paint on and a dry brush and call it a day, but I'm going to do a lot more than that and go into a few more steps and really pay a bit more attention because this model is awesome. There we go. You can see what it looks like when it's completely painted and dried. Next, I take some Moonstone Brown. This is a base paint, and I've got a different brush here. I don't even know what brand it is, just an old brush I've got, but it's really soft, and I'm going to do the same dry brushing technique with this. So use that card to work as much as you can off. And now I'm just going to try and catch all the raised areas all over the model. I don't want to get this in the recesses. I want that dark wildwood to come through as the shadow, but I do want to get every single raised part with this. And then with those bits that are a bit wobbly, you can just give them a little bit of support with your finger, just so you don't damage them. Then it's Baneblade Brown, a layer paint, and I'm going to dry brush again now, but this time I'm being a bit more careful, a bit more gentle, and I'm just doing downward strokes on the areas that I think would catch most of the light. And each stage and each paint we use is just going to bring it up to a little bit lighter, but still keeping those rich shadows. Then on to Base Zandri Dust. This is a nice colour. It's going to be a little bit brighter again, and now I'm being even more gentle and not going over every part, giving a bit more attention to the face, and then getting another paint, Balor Brown. This has got a little bit yellow to it, and then just picking out little areas. This isn't really a highlight. This is just to break the colour up a little bit and make it a bit more interesting. So I'm just dotting that around, still dry brushing, but very careful, and just picking my spots. Then a dry Tyrant Skull paint is next, and this is going to be the brightest paint. So this is really going to catch the most raised areas. I'm really using this one as my main highlight. So really going around, moving the model, and looking for those areas that would really catch the most light. And don't forget the top of the head there too. Now I want to break up that colour a little bit, so I'm going to take some dry Nurgling Green. Same dry brush, but now I'm going to just catch some areas, mostly around the feet, but also in the different parts of the body too. And you can see you've got some areas which are going to be a lot greener, where you've got some hanging moss and things like that, also some vines. So I'm just going to work those areas, be a bit more rougher there, get a bit more of the colour off the brush, and then just work it around, and then just pick out little areas that you think it would be nice to have a bit more green on. Then some layer Pallid Witch Flesh, and I'm just going to pick out this little flower here and just give that one solid coat, and then that'll be ready to add some colour to. I'm also going to be very gentle here. I wet this down a little bit with water, maybe 1 part paint, 1 part water, and then you've got a bit more control. Comes off the bristles a bit easier, and I'm just going to paint the dot for the eye and then paint all around the eye so that that's nice and bright for when we do some technical paint later on. Also, I'm going to work around this emblem in his torso, and I'm just going to go very gently all around the edge, just catching the uppermost part, and then I get the thinnest brush I've got and just put a few dots and lines inside that recess there. And this is all going to have another paint over the top later, and I want it to be really bright, so putting this as the base is going to help me achieve that. I didn't take a video of this paint, but I'm using the Militarum green contrast paint now, and I'm just picking out all the leaves on Gump's model. I really like Militarum green. It's a nice deep green colour, not too bright at all, and I think it'll work really well with all the other colours we're using. I don't want this to be like a summery look. I want him to certainly look a bit swampy, really. He's got all these like mossy vines and things hanging off him, and I'm going to give a bit of those some attention with that Militarum green too, just picking out the vines. Then contrast Imperial Fist yellow next, and I'm just going to use this for a little dot in the centre of that flower. And so just give that a little dot there, as long as that pallid witch flesh is dry. Then some Leviathan purple contrast is next, and that's going to be the petals of the flower, so just give that a nice coat too. Next, I've gone for contrast plague bearer flesh, and I'm going to use this for all those hanging mossy parts. So I'm just giving one solid coat all over that. Some of the colours we've already painted are going to come through. It's not a really dark, thick paint, this one, so you're going to see all the nice shadows coming. You're going to get all those highlights as well, but you're going to get a very nice green colour that I think complements the rest of the model. And then I'm just going to go along and almost stipple and dot some of this plague bearer flesh all around the model. Bit more heavy on the base because that's going to be closer to the ground, where I think it would be a bit more green. You'd get a bit more moss and things collecting on that, but then just working my way up and just going all around the model and just eyeing it up, seeing where you think it would look good, and just breaking up all those colours, adding some different variety and some interest to the model. And then when that's dry, I'll move on to some technical paint now. Tesseract Glow. This is awesome stuff. Give it a good mix and a shake though. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed up. And then I'm going to go over all those areas that I painted with that pallid witch flesh. So really get it in there. Not too heavy. Don't put too much paint on. And then around the eye as well. And this is going to give a nice green glow. And it'll match similar to the images we've seen on the Moonstone website. You can find some awesome photographs there which make great references when painting your models. Then I thought I needed something like Dark Oath Flesh contrast paint, and I'm just going to go around and just pick out little bits of the model. I haven't got much paint on my brush here, so I'm only putting little bits on, just sketching it around. And again, that's going to break up the colour, add a bit more brown back to the model, but still let all those other colours come through. And it's also got a little bit of an orange tint to it as well, which I think is very nice. So I'm just working that in. I can go a bit heavier in the darker areas like under the jaw and in the neck there, but really it's just giving it a bit of variety and again just making it look interesting. The model's going to mostly be a few feet away when you're playing, and all these different colours will merge into each other, but it's going to look cool. Then I took some Layer Ogrin Camo, nice colour this is, and I'm just going to thin this down again, 1 part paint to 1 part water. And I'm just going to put some little lines, some little dots, and just pick out the highlights on all those areas that I went over with that plague bearer flesh. So this is going to highlight all those hanging mosses on the model. Here's another nice green, Scarsnick Greener layer paint, again 1-to-1 with water, and now I'm picking out different areas all over the wooden sections, just dotting it. You can see tiny little dots there, and this is just going to give a little bit of highlight and just again some variety and interest. That's the kind of theme of this video, I think, and then just sketching it on, having a look, moving the model around. Then I thought some orange would be nice, so I've gone for Contrast Gryph-hound Orange. And I haven't got much paint on my brush here, and you can see the bristle isn't pointy either. So I can like stipple it, I can put some little scratches and just add a little bit of orange to it, just to give another colour to the mix. And then as I work around the back, I went a little bit more on the back piece. You can see some of that brown colour coming through, so I thought a bit more orange would be nice there, almost acting as a highlight. And that is Gump finished, and I was really happy with how this model turned out. I've done the base very similar to I've done some of the other models, so if you'd like to check out my basing video, that's up on the channel already. I'll link to it at the end of this one, and then I also painted the rim. But overall, really happy with how the model finished up, and all the different colours I think came together. Again, it's going to be a little distance away from you when you're playing, but it's nice to add some extra details and spend a little bit more time doing all these different colours for an overall effect. The sculpt was fantastic on this, and I'm loving the Moonstone miniatures. They're so original and unique. Great fun to paint. They're really getting me into painting a lot more. And here you can see how I've done the other TREEFOK as well. This one is one of the models from the Wyrdwood, and really spooky looking character. Great model, again, very fun to paint, and you can really see all the different colours coming through. As the bark's a bit flatter, you've got more options there. Same goes for this one, another Wyrdwood model, great looking character, this one, and really went a bit heavier with the colour changes for the twisted bark. there's all 3 of the TREEFOK lined up, and now I'm going to go and paint Dranya, which is a fantastic character. I really can't wait for that. And again, if you want to watch the unboxing videos for Gump and the Wyrdwood, where you can see Dranya there, the model on the right hand side, they're up on the channel already. And I've also done some videos on how to play Moonstone. I've gone through a quick demo game, just showing it in action, and then also lots of other painting videos, including Doug the Flatulent. A massive thank you to Moonstone. It's been great collaborating with them on this series, and a big thanks to other supporters and sponsors of the channels, and to you for using the links. Don't forget, if you click the link down below to Moonstone website and pick up their starter set, you can still make some great savings right up until the end of September 2023. So if you're looking to get in the game, follow along with the series, then I definitely recommend doing that now. You can also make some savings on their books too at the moment with that code down below. I hope you enjoyed the video and it gave you a little idea about how you might like to paint up your TREEFOK for Moonstone. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And don't forget, we've still got that teaser to come in a moment. But that's it from me. So thank you again for watching. If you did like the video, it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one. And I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. Now here comes the teaser. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep going with these regular videos. I couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate your support so much. If you'd like to join the Patreon community, support the channel, get some great perks at the same time, there's a link down below in the description. It'll be awesome to see you there.